Hello and welcome to the GSA show, where I, your host Grimsabr, gives you my thoughts and recommendations on some of this season's airing anime. We look at the highs, the lows, and some of the absolutely batshit crazy. So please, buckle up and let's roll winter 2021. This winter season has been filled with some great anime, and Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation is no exception to this. It's an isekai with a bit of spice, and I've been really enjoying the story pacing and characters. In classic isekai fashion, a 34-year-old jobless man is killed in a car accident and reincarnates in another world as a newborn baby, Rudius. The catch is, he kept all knowledge and experiences from his past life, which gives him a bit of a boost in the development department. Determined not to squander his second chance at the life he wasted, he teaches himself to read and write from a young age, and eventually begins to delve into the world of magic, quickly mastering the basics of that too. Rudius soon becomes an apprentice to the powerful mage Roxy, and after quickly surpassing her ability with his own, he finds himself undergoing various journeys and challenges as he enjoys all that this new life has to offer. So there's been a fair amount of love for this show, but I've also seen a bit of controversy surrounding the characters of Rudius and his father Paul. People aren't digging the fact that Rudius is a massive pervert, and Paul apparently is a total scumbag coming from the light novel material. Here's my views coming from someone who's only seen the anime. Yes, Rudius is a massive pervert, but in his previous life he spent his days playing eroges as a 34-year-old virgin living at his parents' house, I assume. So is that really a surprise to anyone? If anything, I find it far more believable that his character's like this than if it wasn't. I for one don't mind him. He's totally unapologetic, and I really respect the fact that he's making a conscious effort to not waste his second chance at life. As for Paul, well, yeah, he's pretty scummy. We find out that he forced himself on the maid when they were younger, and he's pretty well known for his debauchery. That being said, he feels like a decent father in regards to the way he wants the best for his family, and he has great chemistry with Rudius, even if he isn't a perfect role model. Also, what the actual fuck does this guy eat for breakfast? Some kind of cocktail of Viagra and Red Bull? He gets more pussy than Leonardo DiCaprio. My god, the man does not stop having sex. And he's not fucking quiet about it either. I still remember hearing my parents have sex when I was a little kid, and that shit scarred me for life. My 4-word summary? Panty sniffing magic kid. Horimiya is insanely good, and it's quickly becoming my favourite romance anime of all time. I don't even think I can fully express just how much I like this shit in this video, so I'm probably going to have to write another just to gush over it more, because my god, it is just so goddamn good. Kyoko Hori is a high school student who appears to be energetic and popular with her peers. However, outside of school she is actually more of an introvert and displays more aggressive and bossy characteristics, especially around her family. One day, her classmate and second half to the Horimiya namesake, Izumi Miyamura, arrives on her doorstep and shocks the shit out of her when she discovers his totally different appearance. The man is fucking unrecognisable to his high school self. He's got a shitload of piercings and tattoos. In school, he's widely seen as just some quiet antisocial otaku, and it seems this is far from the truth. Hori and Miyamura quickly develop an unsuspecting friendship, and Miyamura begins to open up to his other classmates. His relationship with Hori soon advances into something much more romantic, and I'm seriously all for it. One of the things I love about Horimiya is how much it subverts my expectations. Nothing ever goes the way that anime has conditioned me to assume it will. When Hori was getting chewed out by the student council president, I fully expected Miyamura to sit on the sidelines and do nothing. Or at the very most, I expected him to pipe up and defend her. But no, the man puts on his Chad-sized pants and just going fucking nuts, the guy. Honestly, I was creasing. I must have spat out my damn drink. Get down, you mug. It's not the first or last time that Miyamura lets his balls swing either. During a particularly intimate kiss, he steals the candy right out of Hori's mouth because she wasn't a fan of the taste. That's a fucking gangster move right there, my son. Top marks for expert tongue action too. Miyamura best husbando 2021. Okay, this shit has surprised me a little bit. I usually go into shows like these with a pinch of salt, but damn did I chuckle out loud a few times in the beginning. Suppose a kid from the last dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town, features our main lad Lloyd Belladonna. Lloyd dreams of becoming a soldier, and therefore sets out to the royal capital in hopes of passing the entrance exams and realising his wish. He hails from the village of Kunlun, which happens to be a legendary village where the saviours of humanity settled down to breed powerful offspring and continue to protect the world. Situated by the infamous Last Dungeon, the residents of Kunlun use the surrounding areas to hunt and train, which makes them all incredibly powerful, including our young Lloyd. However, Lloyd classes himself as the weakest member of his village, and as a result, he continues that thought process throughout his journey in the royal capital, no matter how much people try to convince him of his true, overwhelming power. Seriously, this guy just doesn't understand how strong he is at all. Not only does he one-shot this big-ass cricket, Dave, play the clip. Not only does he one-shot this damn cricket, but then he fucking yeets it into outer space. That's actual madness. There is genuinely a good few laugh-out-loud moments in this series, and I've been enjoying it for the most part. but if I'm being honest, the whole gimmick does start to get a bit boring after a little while. Like, how does he not begin to realise that he's super fucking strong? I get that being from a village of overpowered people and being the weakest there has morphed his view of how the rest of the world would be, but come on man, do you not think it's strange that everyone else is shitting themselves over something you can bitch slap to the moon? This kid hella strong. SK8 the Infinity is awesome. Sure, I might be viewing it through nostalgia-filled lenses, but that's on me and I don't care. Watching skate fills me with memories of tearing up our streets as a teenager. This shit genuinely makes me want to take up skating again, and then I remember I'm not a kid anymore and I don't want to crack my damn hip. After the tragic loss of his father, Ranga moves to Japan with his mother, where he eventually befriends skateboard fanatic Reki. At first, Ranga seems fairly cold and distant, but he soon discovers a love for skateboarding after being shown the secretive and high-octane skating event known as S. Being Canadian-born, Ranga had a lot of access to snow and grew up snowboarding with his father, so being able to throw himself into something similar fills the void inside him that was created by his father's passing. Ranga soon displays an insane amount of talent for skateboarding and quickly gains the attention of S president Adam. This guy has a very, let's say, flamboyant fashion sense, but his skills on the board are unmatched and he's now got Ranga in his sights. I'm enjoying so many things about Skate. The soundtrack is perfect, there are a bunch of songs on there with that old school grunge feel and it suits so well. It's really satisfying watching characters who are so passionate about something. These dudes really love skateboarding and I love the relationships that they're developing. There's some proper bro love going on. And look at this man's abs! Dave, pause that shit! Jesus Christ man, you could cut diamonds on those fucking things! Fujoshi baiting skateboard bros. The hidden dungeon only I can enter is almost exactly what I expected it to be. It's an ecchi harem based in a fantasy world and honestly, it doesn't try and be anything more than that. It has a few funny moments in it, but I wouldn't put it over Last Dungeon Boonies, and the main character has an interesting power as far as stories like this goes. It does put him in some interesting situations, but other than that, meh. It's alright. Noir Stargar is a lad of noble status who was born with the extremely rare and powerful ability to communicate with the Great Sage. An ability that lets him ask anything and get the right answer in return. However, using the ability leaves him with intense and painful headaches, which usually puts him out of action. Even though he's a noble, my man's family name is at the very bottom of the food chain, and therefore he's heavily looked down upon. It even costs him a job opportunity at his local library. With no other choice, he decides to try and join the Hero Academy, and after consulting the Great Sage, he sets off to explore a secret dungeon, where he meets an enchained lass called Olivia. Olivia bestows him with the power to essentially morph reality. He uses his life points to learn and edit new skills to give him an edge in battle, or even just life in general. The only thing that surprised me about this series is that I would have put money on it being ecchier. Honestly, it's actually pretty tame as far as what they're willing to show. Although I say that and then this chick just starts sexually assaulting this lion's head flower. Hold on actually, Dave. Rewind, play it again. Let's ignore the fact that this lion has a goddamn erogenous tulip growing on his head. Why the fuck is she jerking it off? Who in the name of Odin's hairy ballsack just starts randomly working a flower like that? I can't comprehend the thought process behind it. Oh, what a cute flower, let me just get that nut! Jesus! Not another teen harem. There's not a lot I can say about Redo of Healer that I haven't already said, so if you really want to know more then feel free to go and watch my other video on it. Links up here and in the description. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Redo of Healer, but I'll be honest, I was expecting a much bigger backlash to the anime than what we've seen so far. Maybe people are just getting used to these controversial shows now, but I'm sure Ishizoku Reviewers got much more heat than this. Kearu is the healer hero who was wrongly imprisoned and violently assaulted by the people who were supposed to be his comrades. After suffering years of being drugged, tortured, and sexually abused, Kearu develops the ability to negate the drug's effects. He then bides his time until he can get one over on his comrades and casts an insanely powerful healing spell on the world to turn back time. Now back in the past, Kearu regains the memories of his past life and begins to put into action his nefarious plans for revenge on those who wronged him. The burning hatred inside him fuels his actions and he's committed to seeing those people suffer brutally, one at a time. Many things have been said about this anime throughout YouTube already. It's catching a lot of hate from content creators, mostly in regards to its themes, but it's not always limited to that. Me personally, looking at the anime from a purely visual standpoint, it's alright. I don't think it's great. I've seen better looking anime, but I've also seen far worse. For example, the action scenes are actually pretty good. I've seen worse action in filler episodes from long-running shonen. All in all, I think the manga art and the art provided by Shion Kombu is far better visually speaking. Shion Kombu is a fantastic hentai artist by the way, so definitely check their shit out if you're also a cultured individual. Sexual Violence the anime. Let's change the mood and talk about Wonder Egg Priority. This shit is great. Not only have Cloverworks knocked it out of the park with their animation production, but the concept is so unique and the themes are so personal. After already struggling with being an outcast due to her heterochromia, Ai Oto falls even further into a spiral of depression after her only friend commits suicide. Ai eventually comes across a talking bug who convinces her to purchase a peculiar egg. A wonder egg. She is soon instructed to break the egg in a strange world that she enters during her sleep, discovering that the eggs contain people that must be protected from horrifying creatures. In doing so, Ai has the chance to bring her friend back to life. Wonder Egg priority centers on the various traumas and regrets people have in life and death, and it's up to our protagonist to save people from them whilst dealing with demons of their own. This series has really moved me, and I can see how relatable it could possibly be for some people. That said, even if you've been fortunate enough to live a relatively trauma-free life, I still think there's plenty you could get out of Wonder Egg Priority. It does a really good job of showing how people deal with or hide from their feelings and emotions. Mental health is a topic that's really important to me, and I can see this anime hitting me hard when it ends. Okay, that's enough of super serious Grim now. Next one, Dave. Magical Girl Egg Protectors. Okay, this time we're actually going to change the mood because this one creased me up. Dr. Ramune is a mysterious disease specialist who cures people of their strange afflictions. From people growing chili peppers for fingers to popcorn erupting from their brains, the doctor is out to cure them all, but only if they can help themselves. Mysterious diseases are born when the person is suffering from some kind of emotional trauma. If they intend on hiding or suppressing their feelings, then the mysterious disease takes hold of them and causes all manner of strange symptoms. It's then up to the good doctors to convince them to confront those feelings in order to essentially cure themselves, with the help of some funky artifacts along the way. This might be the strangest anime airing this season. It's so wacky, man. It gives me some real XXX Holic vibes, but it's not as good. Actually, I don't even know if it's supposed to be funny, but when my man comes to the good doctor because his dick is turning into a fish stick, how can I not laugh? The diseases that this guy is curing are so weird, man, you can't help but look and laugh. The first episode has a girl who's crying condiments, my dude, like what? Can you imagine crying mayonnaise? No. The show does offer some deeper moments outside of its comedy value. The things that people are going through that cause their afflictions in the first place are usually pretty meaningful and offer some important messages. Doctor cures weird shit. Kemono Jihen is actually pretty dope. It's one of those action shonens where you don't have to think too much about it, you can just switch off your brain and enjoy the ride each week. The characters and powers are pretty cool, and the story has some potential, so I'm interested to see where it goes. Inugami is a detective who specialises in cases involving the occult. Specifically, anything involving kemono, which is the generalised term for supernatural beings such as kitsune, ghouls and tanuki, with Inugami himself being the latter. One day, whilst out on the job, Inugami comes across Kabane working alone in the fields of his small village. Kabane is shunned by the others of his age and therefore has no friends. Even the relatives who took him in don't seem to give a shit about him. Inugami quickly discovers that Kabane is in fact a human-ghoul hybrid, and circumstance leads to Kabane joining him at the Strangeness Consultancy Office, where he meets fellow kimono teenagers Akira and Shiki. Now the team embark on missions to solve cases involving the occult, as Kabane is determined to find his parents and learn more about them and himself. I really like Kabane as a character. He's so unflinching and appears emotionless, but he's the first to jump into the line of fire when others are in danger. I suppose it helps that he's basically immortal as long as his head stays intact, but that's still pretty ballsy, no? Overall, the action is decent, I think it's good. Scooby Gang Monster Division. I really wanted to like this one more. Don't get me wrong, it's not terrible and overall I think it's fine, but there are a bunch of things that put me off. One day, Sororo finds herself in the mysterious and strange Otherside, a world that can only be entered by finding portals that could be anywhere or anything. She soon comes across Toriko, another person who is exploring the other side in order to find her lost friend, and the two quickly develop a close friendship. They rely on each other in order to stay alive and keep themselves sane in a world filled with freaky monsters and creatures out to get them. The two of them end up in a sticky situation which results in their bodies being influenced by the other side. Sororo can now see the true forms and intentions of creatures from the other side, whilst Toriko's arm can physically touch and affect them. Although Sororo wobbles in her conviction to continue exploring the other side, the two of them need to stick together if Toriko has any hope of finding her friend. The series seems to struggle constantly with its identity. Like, what is it trying to be? It has these terrifying suspenseful moments that even gives me the willies, and then the next thing you know they're doing close combat with ninja cats. I kinda wish it would be one or the other. Pick a lane. When it flip-flops like this, it really pulls me out of the zone. Where's the picnic though? You know what, I almost dropped this one, but it's actually pretty good. I didn't think it had a very strong first episode, but that's exactly why I always watch 3 episodes of a show before I decide. It's the rule of 3. If you can't catch my interest in 3 episodes, then I'm heading out. Tomozaki is an antisocial teenager who has essentially given up on trying in life. Unknown to his classmates, he is the top Super Smash TAC-fan player in Japan, dedicating all his time and effort into mastering the game's mechanics and intricacies. It's this mindset that has led to his disdain for normal life, as he deems it an unfair and garbage game that he doesn't want to play. Enter Hinami, Tomozaki's attractive and popular classmate who he discovers to be the number 2 player of TAC-fan. Awestruck by her ability to be amazing at not only TAC-fan but life also, Tomozaki is convinced to give the wonderful game called life a proper try. The way they handle the theme in Tomozaki-kun is great. The kid has no fucking clue what he's doing in any aspect of social life. He doesn't know how to talk to people, how to behave, what to say, what not to say, how to approach people. Everything is complete unknown territory for him. It's really interesting to see how Hinami coaches him into what is a typical situation for most people. There's moments where he says shit and I genuinely speak out loud, like, oh no my dude, don't say that, what are you doing? I feel embarrassed for him. And I think that's what I really like about the show. If it's eliciting these kinds of physical reactions from me, then it's doing a good job. Anime Sims roleplay. The spider isekai that everyone was waiting for. I heard so much about this one before it aired and I expected some great things. Yeah, it's alright. A bunch of normal high schoolers are doing their thing one day when something disastrous happens and seemingly wipes them all out. By some divine miracle, the students are reincarnated into another world filled with fantasy and magic. Unfortunately for Kumiko, she is reincarnated alone as a weak little spider. She quickly discovers that she has access to an RPG-like system which awards her with skills and abilities as she levels up and explores the depths of the dungeon she was born in. Honestly, Kumiko is the best thing about this anime so far. She's a really fun protagonist and I love her personality. She's witty and relatable if you can put yourself in her shoes. She basically carries the show with how entertaining she is. That being said, she doesn't have much of a choice because nearly every episode is just her fighting shit and eating in this underground labyrinth. I think that's where the show loses me a bit. Regardless of the awful CGI. Seriously, what the fuck is this shit? Dave, zoom in fam. This is fucking terrible. But forget that, I can move past that. Where the anime really starts to lose me is in its pacing. 7 episodes in and I feel like the story is progressing so slowly. Almost every episode is the same formula to the point where I start watching and I can almost guess that it's just going to be another episode of Kumiko fighting a big monster, killing it, eating it and leveling up. GG. Regardless, I feel like the story development is about to hit and then hopefully things will progress a little more rapidly. I'm fairly sure things will end positively, especially considering it's set for 24 episodes, giving it plenty of time to impress. Spider Girl eats everything. So there you have it ladies and gentlemen, that brings the show to an end for winter season 2021. I really hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on some of the anime that aired, and please, if there was any shows that you watched that I didn't pick up, let me know in the comments down below. That's it from me, so please like and subscribe and I look forward to seeing you next season. Laters.